Hello, and welcome to another vlog. It is that time. In fact, it's, as ever, past that usual time. But you know, it's... I fit them in when I can. It's 11 PM on a Saturday night. And, well, it's now or never. Because my sleep is precious. And late nights do nothing. Do nothing for me at all. Right, the beer, what are we drinking? I don't even know. It is the White Hag Irish Brewing Company. The White Sow Oatmeal Chocolate Milk Stout. Sounds delicious. This is my sort of beer. The glass, it's a cervoise, sort of a goblet thingy. I'll pour it out. I'm ill prepared as ever, but I'll ask some questions. I'll take some questions from the Discord shortly. I shall ping everyone, which is always exciting. Let's see what this looks like then. It's black, as one expects. It's got a nice brown head on it. Rather too much of a head. But it's good. It's always good, I say, to let it off gas. So the more gas that gets out, the less gas that ends up inside. Oh, that is... I'll let that settle. Right. How have you been? I've been fine. Well, mostly fine. You know, as ever, you have good weeks and you have bad weeks. There was some bad news, actually. I'm afraid to say one of my cats was hit by a car. I know. It's terrible. Terrible. He's alright, he's alive, he's got a fractured pelvis, but that's one thing I've been dealing with. That happened a couple of weeks ago now. I think 2.5 weeks. So he's been at the vets, and he's confined to a cage right now, which is, oh, it's a tragedy, it really is. But he's fine, he's going to survive, with probably less mobility. But yeah, that, and I've been ill as well, but I'm always ill. It's one of the joys of having a 3-year-old. They pick up all sorts of stuff. Oh, it's fruity. Alright, I shall ping. Actually, I've got one question in reserve. Someone sent me a message on Discord. So I'll ping everyone, and then I'll read the one that I got. Okay, I hate doing this. I hate pinging everyone, but here we go. Everyone, questions for the vlog, please! Exclamation mark. You know, I don't want to come across as too eager, but... Oh! Hold up! Yes, I do mean to. Send now. I have pung. Alright, now let's see. Okay. So this guy asked me a question, oh, probably a couple of weeks now, maybe in a few weeks. It was in February. JG Thorncross says, here's a question for your next vlog, in case I miss it. With the release of Anthem by BioWare, what are your thoughts on the looter/shooter genre and the games populating it, i.e. Warframe, Destiny, Borderlands, and The Division? What are my thoughts on the loot and shoot genre? Warframe I fell a little bit. It's alright. I never got into it. But, you know, it seems enjoyable enough. Destiny I quite liked. I did play quite a lot of Destiny 1. I didn't play much Destiny 2. But, I don't know. The thing about Destiny is, I always hated the DLC because it felt like if you weren't fully committed to the game, you just got left behind. So I enjoyed Destiny when it first came out, and then I never really bought the DLC for it, and I lost interest. Borderlands, I like Borderlands. I'd probably pick up a Borderlands 3 if/when it comes out. And The Division, I wanted to like The Division, but it was alright. But as a solo player, I felt you didn't get much out of it. You know what I mean? So I don't have a particular problem with the genre, but they can be hit and miss. I find it very easy to be lost by the games, you know, particularly when they do rely on stuff like you know, microtransactions. I'm not against microtransactions per se, but they can be a deal breaker in situations. You know, if you're not fully invested in the game. I've spilled some. Still trying to pour this beer. But yeah, can't think of any looter shooters that I'm looking forward to. It'd be interesting to see what Bungie do with Destiny now that they're independent. Maybe they'll do something interesting. Who knows? Alright, let's take some, see what's coming. Drunk Cat says, ZF1 when? That would be the fictional weapon from The Fifth Element. He's after an iconic arms. Actually, I had somebody else ask me about a fictional weapon for iconic arms. I think it was the pulse rifle. You know, I forget who it was. It was on YouTube or something. Somebody said something along the lines of, "What are the odds of you ever doing a fictional weapon like, say, for instance, the pulse rifle from Aliens?" I don't know. I could, I suppose, but the trouble with fictional guns is they only tend to appear in, well, they appear in one universe generally, and with Aliens there are quite a few games, but with something like the ZF-1, I can't see it being a good candidate. You know what I mean? It's in the Fifth Element. It might be in the Fifth Element game, but beyond that, no. Weeaboo says, "Why is your voice so relaxing and soothing?" No idea. It was annoying and squeaky once upon a time, and then puberty hit, and then here we are. Sometimes I get questions like that sometimes. You know, I don't really have a good answer. You know, why is your voice like that? It just is. That's my voice. Deal with it. I'll let you know what the beer's like when I get to it. Not quite big enough, this glass, for the can, so I've got a little bit left. But let's have a look. That's alright, it's got a nice head on it. It looks like an Irish stout to me. The head, light, fruity, slight metallic taste, but it is from a can. Quite a strong metallic taste, actually. Not in a bad way. It's quite pleasant otherwise. 5.2%, 330ml. Yep, it's a beer, all right. Yeah, it's all right. I can drink this. All right, let's scroll down. Thoughts about visual novels. Do I have any thoughts about visual novels? No. Do I play them with any regularity? No, I've probably played a few in my time. That Pigeon Romance game, what's that one? Heartful Boyfriend. Played that. That was alright. That was fun. That was funny. But I wouldn't say I was I'm not hardcore into visual novels or anything. But I appreciate them for their merits. Let's just say that. Drunkcat says, "How do you feel about first video game so far?" First video game is my current project. You see there the OHP behind me, which I've conveniently set up to demonstrate how I'm doing this. It's an interesting project, this one. I'm doing it all on OHP with transparencies. It's experimental in that regard, but it should have a unique aesthetic as a result of that. I think it's going to be pretty cool. It does throw up some challenges. It does throw up some challenges, but visually I think it's going to be quite cool. As far as the topic's concerned, I was worried when I started to write the script. I didn't really know where I was going with it. I had the first act down and I knew some of the points that I wanted to hit, but I didn't really have all of the answers. But I've been doing a lot of research. That's what I've been busy doing, reading and researching and making diagrams. Oh, I like making diagrams. Don't worry, you'll get to see them. But yeah, I'm a lot happier. I think my current script length that I've written, I think it's about 30 minutes. How long is it going to be in the end? Probably somewhere in the region. I don't know. It depends on how strictly I edit it. It could be anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour. Probably looking at about 45. It's, this is going to be a pretty substantial one. And it's interesting. It is interesting. If you're interested in the early cultural aspect of video games and, sort of how they developed and how we view video games today, I think it is going to be quite interesting. We do hit on a lot of, there's nothing, it's not quite as revelationary as I would like. I haven't uncovered some video game from the 19th century or anything. But I do think I can frame some of the knowledge that's out there in a much more digestible way. And I think most people who watch this, 99% plus people who watch this, will come away having learned something. And I think it will be interesting. And it will certainly be visually interesting on account of the whole OHP thing going on. So yeah, I was a little bit concerned when I first started writing, but I've been making progress. The first act is written, the first third. The second act is... like, I've written the big chunks, but I need to do a little bit of blending and editing to sort of make that flow. But I really feel like last week I broke the back of the script. So now I've just got to ride things home and come to a satisfying conclusion. And I feel a lot better than I did, say, a couple of weeks ago. I feel like, I've done the legwork, I've done the research, and I've arrived at a point now where it's not like a major revelation or anything. Most of this is already out there. It's not like Polybius, where I effectively solve the mystery, but I do frame the mystery. Because the big thing about the first video game is the answer to the question, what is the first video game, is really, it depends. Because what is a video game? That's the crux of it. How do you define video game? And if you can define video game, then you can go on to to actually ascertain what the first was, because it turns out defining a video game is quite tricky. It's something we attempt to do in the video, and I do think we arrive at a fairly robust definition. It has to be robust. We have to sort of be concrete, and then if we apply that logically, we can come to a conclusion. I won't spoil it, principally because I haven't written the conclusion yet, but I think I know where I'm going with it now. So yeah, I don't know. I sort of went into this one a little bit blind. I wasn't really sure where I was going to go with it, but I do feel a lot more confident now. We'll see anyway. We'll get the script written, I'll record the script, and then I'll be printing out a lot of transparencies, and hopefully that'll come together quickly enough. It is a bit more legwork than usual, having to print out and then film it on camera, but that should be simple enough. It's easy. It's just block by block, transparency after transparency. It's nice, I can keep it visual. I think I might also show some gameplay with a projector, and it's going to be lots of overlays stacked on top of each other. It'll look cool. But yeah, I'm feeling better than I was. But then that's the whole point of the project. You've got to steer things and bring them round and hopefully come out with a video at the end of it. Super Sai says, ahoy, what are your thoughts on Google Stadia, the new cloud gaming service? We've seen cloud gaming before, haven't we? I mean, we had OnLive, and it's kind of a neat tech, isn't it, really? I mean, the idea that you don't have to wait for installation or downloads, you just jump in and instantly start playing. It's nice, it's cool. It's kind of a step towards the Netflix of games, where you've just got a huge array of AAA titles and you think, oh, I want that one. And you can jump right in. And that is cool, and I think it does resemble the future of gaming. However, there is the question of latency. And I don't think local gaming is going to go extinct anytime soon. I think there is always going to be a market for people who want to play games on their system, and I don't know. My gut says Google Stadia is going to be a failure, but that's because it's Google and everything they touch. Well, I don't know, it just seems everything they do outside of their core is doomed for failure, and I feel like Stadia is going to go the same way. So, we'll see. I don't think it's going to replace mainstream gaming, but it's interesting at least. And, they've got the bandwidth and the tech that could go behind it. But whether it's the future of games, who knows? I think it's a new facet more than anything. Alright. Skytech CEO says, what is your favourite part of Red Dead Redemption 2? I didn't finish it. I started it and I just haven't had the time to actually see it through. I like Red Dead Redemption 2, it's nice. It's got that sort of calm cowboy relaxation aesthetic going on to it, it's riding horses and stuff. It's nice, but it does drag out a bit, doesn't it? But that's not necessarily a bad thing, it's nice to have a game that's paced quite slowly. But it's hard to pick a moment, really. I like the towns, just arriving in town for the first time is always quite a nice, riding it, hitching your horse to a post, going to the inn. That's always quite nice. It's nice. It's got atmosphere in spades. It has really, but I should finish it. What happened? I think Dead Cells. I played Dead Cells instead. I got big into Dead Cells. I finished that. Well, I finished one run, and I've been playing a bit. I'm on one boss cell, and it's too hard for me now. And then after Dead Cells, I was playing Metro Exodus, which I managed to finish last night. I forced myself to just sort of plough through it and actually finish it. But yeah, I should finish Red Dead Redemption 2. That's what I should be doing next. That's what I will be doing next. I think I'm on the 3rd or the 4th act, maybe? Not act. Section. Bit. But yeah, I'll power through and I'll finish it. If only for the achievements. SEJ643 says, do you consider visual novels games? Sure, in the broader sense, yeah. I've been thinking a lot about the definition of games, and I don't like to exclude stuff. If it looks like a video game and it plays like a video game, then sure, why not? It's a video game. I think if you start trying to pin down really specific definitions like fail states, you can always start to think of exceptions, like Secret of Monkey Island, for instance, doesn't really have fail states, but it's definitely a video game. So I don't like to exclude stuff on that. So visual novels, I mean, they are of their own thing, but they're games. Why not? You know, they're not the gamiest of games, but they're still games. Jareth 000 says, what's your favourite thing of March 2019 so far? Game-wise, probably Metro Exodus. I like the Metro series. Been a big fan since 2033. And, you know, they're atmospheric and, you know, they're sort of fun to play. Sometimes a little bit punishing. And quite buggy as well, I found. I got stuck on a bug a couple of times. But yeah, that's probably been the highlight gaming-wise. Otherwise, what's been my favourite thing of March 2019? I don't know. What have I done? My cat got run over. That wasn't a highlight. I was ill. That wasn't a highlight. I don't know. What else? I'll tell you what's been good, actually. I've been rewatching House MD, the 2005 medical series with Hugh Laurie. I watched that back in the day. I've been rewatching it, and I've been enjoying that. That's been a highlight for me. That counts, doesn't it? Rewatching old television? Sure. CJ says, are we heading towards another gaming crash? No, almost certainly not. I get this a lot on, say for instance, the crash video where I talk about the 1983 crash. I get a lot of comments that say, oh yeah, it's happening again. Except, of course, it's not. Gaming is too multifaceted. I mean, you've got console gaming, you've got PC gaming, you've got virtual reality, you've got mobile gaming, so many different facets, and I mean, one of them could wither, certainly. You know, virtual reality could turn out to be a dud, but it doesn't mean gaming as a whole is going to crash. I think we're at the point now where it's self-sustaining. So I really can't see another crash coming. 1983 was a different kettle of fish. There was really only one sort of game in town, and that was stuff like the Atari 2600 and, you know, the Fairchild Channel F and the Intellivision. That was pretty much all there was. And there was a big boom, and then of course the crash, because, well, they were a bit faddy. Eret Link says, what are your future project ideas? I've got loads of different ideas. You know, there are certain topics that I'd like to do. What was I thinking about? I was thinking about doing a video on XCOM at some point. I don't want to do a Retro Ahoy on it though. I'm in a weird place with Retro Ahoy. I like it, but I feel like it's too big. I want to do maybe like a subset of Retro Ahoy, like I say, I did the Secret of Monkey Island series. Instead of doing a game in its totality, I'd like to focus on just one facet. Like, for instance, iMuse. I could do a video on iMuse if I was going to do Monkey Island and talk about how that worked and just sort of have a razor-honed focus on one thing. With XCOM, I want to talk about how it deals with the unknown and player discovery, because that's one of the big things I like about XCOM. The first time you play it, you've got no idea what's going to go on, and then it does this wonderful thing where it pulls the rug out from under your feet and introduces a new enemy or a new gun, and it leads to some really memorable moments. Like, I'll never forget the time you see these like black lobster dudes, and you think, what are these? What are they going to do? And you think, they're aliens. You shoot them, they die. Except you shoot one of these black lobster dudes a few times, and he doesn't die. And then he gets close to one of your guys, and he attacks him, and he dies instantly. And then his corpse reanimates, and you're thinking, what the hell? And then you kill this zombie, and then another one of these lobster dudes appears, and you think, oh my god, I'm in deep trouble now. And that's how you learn about the chrysalids, and that's how you learn this huge fear of these black lobster dudes. Except they're not black lobster dudes in the new ones. They're like what are they? They're like alien chrysalidy things, like gene stealers, sort of. It does that so many times. The first time you encounter the blaster bomb launcher, the aliens have got these weird-looking things, and they can shoot around corners, and you think, with huge explosions, it wipes out your entire squad. That's another learning moment. So I'd like to talk about how UFO Enemy Unknown really exploits the unknown. That's one idea. But I don't know how well it would go over. I think it would go over reasonably well, but I don't know, some people might expect like a complete history of everything to do with XCOM, everything that came before, everything that came after, and that becomes a big project. Whereas a shorter vignette on one thing, it could be, doable in a few weeks. So yeah, I'd also like to talk about aspects of Halo. One of the big things that we talk about in the context of Halo is how it was revolutionary, how it dispensed of so many FPS conventions, but I'd like to look at the inverse of that. I'd like to look at how closely Halo imitated Doom, and why that made Halo a great game. It's sort of, we regard Halo as being so different, but in actual fact, it was Doom, but better. So those are a couple. Another big one, music. I want to talk about video game music. But I want to do a brief history of music, basically, but I don't want to do it in a single video because I want to go into more detail. So I'm thinking of doing it in an anthology style. So I was thinking of maybe starting with chiptunes, look at the earliest days of computer music, and then segue into, stuff like mod music, and then maybe segue into MIDI, and then look at the impact on CD-ROM, and each of these would be a separate self-contained video, but together they would form an anthology that would comprise an entire history of video game music. I'd probably approach it from a technical perspective, because I think that's what I'm most interested in. Gunshoot says, if you could guess a completion percentage on #first video game, what would it be? Probably about 50%. The script is about 60% written, maybe even a bit more. A lot of this video has been research, of which it's still ongoing. I'm still reading stuff, but I've done a lot of research, so I think that has to count towards the completion. The production should be relatively simple. Once the script's in place, just need to perform the script, then I'll just need to fill in with, slides, put it all together, see how it goes. So yeah, I'd say 50%. I feel like we've crossed a threshold, we've broken its back, and it's just the long ride home. Except, of course, it's not really downhill, it's uphill, there's lots of work. Justin says, if you were on a desert island and could only take 3 animals, what would be the choice? I don't know. You see, I'm thinking practically, I'm thinking, what could I eat? Take 3 cows, you'd have milk. Then you'd have to feed them. They can eat grass and stuff. As companions, I'd probably take 3 cats. Actually, maybe dogs. Don't get me wrong, I'm a cat person, but if you're on a desert island and there's the prospect of wolves and what have you, maybe it'd be nice to be the leader of a pack of dogs. You know, they'd look out for you and stuff. Things to look for in 2019. Oh, talking game-wise, I don't know. What am I looking forward to this year? I'm a bit out of touch with games. Not entirely out of touch, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking forward to. I was looking forward to Metro Exodus, but then that came out. So I don't know. I'm thinking about getting a Switch this year, Nintendo Switch. There's a few games on that system I'd like to actually play, if not have. Diablo, for instance. Mobile Diablo sounds very good to me. And maybe... what else? Oh, Civilization. Mobile Civilization. I'm all about that. Giving TNT says, do you floss? And if so, how much floss do you use per session? I don't floss, actually. I brush my teeth, don't get me wrong. But I don't really floss. I feel like flossing is less of a big thing in the UK than it is compared to America. I mean, you can still get floss here. But my dentist has never suggested flossing to me. I have flossed in the past, and I could probably find some floss in my bathroom cabinet, but it's not something I do habitually. No, I mean, my teeth are healthy enough with brushing. We do have some interdental brushes, which are nasty little things that... no, not really a fan. Days, or Day 5E says, who would win in a fight between Georges Bataille and Arthur Rimbaud? I have to be honest, I don't know who either of these people are. I could look it up, but I'm not going to. Apoc says, why is Chickenometer the best video you've ever made and likely ever will make? I like Chickenometer. It was whimsical. It was, you know, it was well researched. It was left field. It was, you know, interesting. It was quirky. I liked, yeah, Chickenometer was a good one. Is it the best video I've ever made? I don't know. Polybius has to rank up there. But is it the best video I ever will make? I'd hope not. I mean, I like to strive to do better, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe one day we'll top those Chickenometer heights. Maybe not. CJ says, why is there not a channel in the Discord for this? General does. It was quiet. It's not like I've interrupted any conversations. It's fine. Drunk Cat says, when is Beverage Guide Express, I think you mean, coming back? When is that coming back? BGX, not likely to come back. I don't know. Drinks Ahoy is something I would like to return to, but the trouble with it is that I feel like if I was going to do another one, I should just upload it to my main channel. But it's not really a beer channel, so I don't know. If I ever have a spectacular idea for Drinks Ahoy, I'll do it. But I don't really have a spectacular idea. I mean, yeah, I could talk about beer, but I don't know. The Wobster says, what was your favourite video game growing up? There have been a few. I mean, I've been around for a while, so I've had a few video games over the time. I was sorting out my Amiga game collection, and I realised that most of my favourite games were all in one group, and that's the strategy arena. So what have I've got Theme Park, I've got Populous, I've got A-Train. What else? Oh, did I say UFO? UFO, Civilization, Colonization. It's that sort of, those were the games that I spent the most time with. Sort of, certainly the most value per purchase, hundreds of hours. But post Amiga, what was I playing? Ooh, I mean, FPS games came in. Half-Life was a favourite for me. Half-Life 2 as well. Locomotion, Chris Sawyer's Locomotion, that's a good one. Civilization has always been there for me though. That's a perennial favourite. Rendertech Productions says, will you narrate my life? No. I get that question a lot as well. Ed Peter says, do you ever consider producing content outside of gaming? If so, what? I do sometimes, but I feel like I should stick to one thing, at least for the main channel. You know, there is kind of an idea behind Ahoy, and it's not strictly limited to gaming, but it's kind of my wheelhouse. I do prefer to stick in that sort of... If you're going to spend a month or two on something, it might as well be on topic. The Survivor says, would there be any interest in a Retro Ahoy on a Grand Theft Auto game, like maybe 3? I'm a big fan of the Grand Theft Auto series, but again, I have mixed feelings on Retro Ahoy. It could be done, but it would be, for something like GTA, it would be quite a big undertaking. If you were going to pluck one facet from GTA, what would it be? Maybe something on virtual spaces, virtual cities, and the sensation of life in a virtual world. That could be one angle you took. Sev says, do you plan on doing a video regarding history and uprising trend of Battle Royale? Do I plan on one? No. Could I do one? Maybe. I'm not a huge fan of Battle Royale games. I've kind of fallen off the multiplayer wagon, if I'm honest, because I find it very difficult to get time where I can focus. Multiplayer, you can't pause multiplayer, which means you need to devote time to it, which is fine, but if you've got kids and a wife, it's tricky. 486DX says, what got you into making YouTube videos in the first place? Ahoy. Simply put, I think it was there. That was the main reason. You know, there was this new platform where you could share video. And this was around about the time it was feasible to edit video on a home computer. I mean, it could have been done before YouTube, but not much before YouTube. You know, editing video on a, like, yeah, let's say, what did I have in the year 2000? I had a 233, an AMD. Video editing would have been challenging. You know, the render times would have been quite long. So it was really just the confluence of a few things. You know, you had a platform for video sharing, and you had the capability to edit videos in a reasonable time on a home computer. And yeah, that was, you know, I started to experiment. I was always a 2D designer. I was always in the realm of, I was a web designer principally, but I also did 2D graphic design. So video was kind of, you know, it was something different, but it was a visual media. And I started, yeah, what did I do? The first videos I did, I think they were video gamey. I uploaded some arcade game footage way back. And I also did some music stuff. I was planning on doing a music documentary. Never really got off the ground. I did the intro sequence. And then I realised actually producing video content is really hard. You've got to write a script, and it's not something you can do in an afternoon. It takes a long time. And then I got into development with XNA, and I started a YouTube channel for a dev blog called Xbox Ahoy. I was planning on getting a game onto XNA. Never came to fruition. It was too hard. But yeah, that was the genesis of the Xbox Ahoy channel. Aniki says, your favourite movie tie-in game? I don't know if this is actually my favourite, but one of my favourites is probably The Thing. It was on PlayStation, well, I played it on PC. This is, I think it was 2003 it came out. That was pretty good. I liked The Thing. Swift says, how did you get into doing the Iconic Arms series, and what inspires you to do it? Thanks. Iconic Arms was, I mean, I had a channel that was 100% Call of Duty weapon guide, and I wanted to do something that was recognisable to my existing viewers, but was in a, instead of just being Call of Duty, something that would appeal to a broader audience. And that's pretty much how Iconic Arms came about. I did a special on the Desert Eagle and how it was a cool gun. And yeah, well, it turns out that that was Iconic Arms. It's still there. It's Iconic Arms episode 1. It's not quite 100% the same as all the others, but it was almost there. And it did really well, and well, I've done 20 episodes, so obviously it's quite successful. I mean, the recent MP40 video, that was one of my stronger performing videos that I've done recently. So yeah, there's still a market for Iconic Arms. I think people like it, so I guess I'll do a few more. Marvin, why do video game movies suck? I don't know, actually. I don't know. They needn't suck, I feel. I think it is possible to make a good movie in the context of a video game. I don't know why. I think people approach them wrong. They approach them, I don't know, they try and adapt the material, but you've really got to sort of make you've got to do story first. You can't really just do a video game movie. You need to think about how movies work. Derry B says, do you think video games are becoming over-monetized with microtransactions, season passes, etc.? For my taste, probably, yeah, a little bit. But the thing is, these things work because people pay for them. It's your fault. Well, maybe not your fault, but you know what I mean. If people spend money, then, you know, there's a market. And if there's a market, it's going to be... That's how it works. I don't necessarily like it, but you can't rally against what works like that because, you know, publishers need to make money. That's how the industry works. So if people are prepared to spend money on microtransactions, then that's how it's going to be. But I do hope, you know, I do hope the traditional model of paying for a game, playing a game, I hope that sticks around. Arat Link says, when will we see Drinks Ahoy return? When the time is right. The Survivor says, in non-video related questions, favourite beer you tasted lately? I'll tell you what I've been enjoying, actually. It's not technically, well, it is a beer, but it's a shandy. It's a Radler. It's a German one. It's a blend of a wheat beer with grapefruit. It's called Schöfferhofer. It comes in an orange can, and it's half wheat beer, half grapefruit, and it's actually thoroughly enjoyable. I do like it. It's only 2.5%, and that means I can drink it during the day, and it doesn't affect me in a negative way. You know, I like that because my alcohol tolerance is not the highest right now. I have approximately one beer a month, and you know I'll probably feel this one in the morning. It's only 5%, but I'll probably still feel it in the morning. But these Radlers, these shandies, it drinks like a beer, tastes like a beer, with a fruity aftertaste. But no, it's good drinking. You can have a whole pint of it, and it doesn't affect me. It's brilliant, like not at all. So I've been enjoying the Schöfferhofer. It's good stuff. Desert Island Discs. Your favourite 3 songs to take with you on an island, please. Oh man. Favourite 3 songs to take with me on an island. Nothing comes to mind. No, really nothing. It's a tough question. Can I take 3 albums? I think I'd rather take 3 albums. What would I have? Probably have a Goldfrapp album. Black Cherry, maybe. What else? Radioactive Man, Booby Trap. I'd have that. One more disc. Oh. I'm thinking. Oh, I don't know. There's so many to choose from. Taylor Swift, Reputation. Moving on. Dr. Hardscopes MD, what is your famous weapon of all time? Presume you mean favourite. Favourite weapon of all time? Oh, it's the FNFAL. I know this one. Tofu Soup says, ahoy, ahoy. What would be your favourite, if any, video in each of your types of categories? I mean, like, say, out of your weapon documentaries, which was your favourite one to do? FAL. Out of Retro Ahoy, which one was your favourite? Doom. Favourite standalone, such as Monkey Island, Chickenometer. Favourite standalone? Oh, I don't know, Polybius, probably. 501 Marine says, what would be the best way to deal with talking too fast? I've been wanting to get into some video making stuff, and when I first recited my script, I found I was talking too fast, even when making sure I was being deliberate in my speech. I don't have any specific tips. Practice is the best way, I suppose. You've just got to find a way to slow it down somehow, even if it, I mean, it might not be natural for you. You've got to find sort of something that feels natural to do. You could maybe try get a metronome and, sort of have a slow tick tock to try and sort of set your cadence with that. That could work. But yeah, practice is really the main thing. I don't know. My style of delivery has evolved. Not hugely, but... Underscore says, do you still regularly play video games? If so, what's your current favourite? Yeah, I play video games still. I don't have like 8-hour sessions. I'll play maybe an hour or two a night. My current favourite, probably Dead Cells still. That's, been the one that I can still go back to Dead Cells, But Metro Exodus I played recently. I quite enjoyed that. And I'll probably, like I say, I'll probably pick up Red Dead Redemption 2 and finish that. Although, if I'm going to play that an hour at a time, it's going to take me months. Ace Phoenix 007 says, what are your favourite video game soundtracks? Hired Guns on the Amiga. That's probably one of my favourite all time. What else? What do I like? Rez was pretty good. Polybius, Jeff Minter's Polybius was pretty good. But I like the old stuff most. The Amiga sort of era. Hired Guns comes to mind. Stardust. Can't think of any modern ones that have really resonated with me. But yeah, there you go. There are some examples. Corsis says, are you planning to do another special on some other console/system like the one about Amiga? Am I planning anything? Not specifically. Although it's likely I will do something in that same vein. I probably will do another Amiga video at some point. But another system? Maybe. I don't know. Now that I've got my garage, I've got some shelving set up. I've got loads of storage space now. I'm on the lookout now. If anybody's getting rid of any old computers, I'll have them. Seriously, I've been looking, because I know there are some in the family. There are some old computers, and I'm thinking of taking them and then maybe using them for a video. Like, I'm looking for old Macintoshes. I'd really like an old Mac Classic, not Classic, but the original Macintosh, the 1984 one. I'd like one of those. And any Amiga stuff, I'm all for that. But yeah, I could do another console-specific video. I don't have anything planned, though, but... Let's see. Morgana Chase says, what do you like in video games? The principal thing that I like, kinesthetics, the feel. That's probably the most important thing. I like it when a game feels good to play, which is quite a difficult thing to define, but it comes down to just sort of how responsive the game is to player input. That's the most important thing for me. That's why I like Dead Cells. It just plays nicely. I also like I like games that aren't too punishing in terms of progress. I like we can sort of always progress in some fashion. You know, like you can grind. And Dead Cells is quite good for that because you can always earn cells. You can always bank them. But there are still step challenges, there are still bosses to defeat, stuff like that. But even if you don't defeat the boss, you'll earn some currency, you'll invest in some skills, and then maybe next time you'll be a little bit better and it'll work out. I like that, I like that. I like continuous progress. Rogue Legacy had something similar. I really like Rogue Legacy. So Ghosty22 says, favourite game? Civilization. Gunshoot says, how do you prefer your steak? It depends. It depends on how confident I am in the place where I'm eating. If I'm doing it myself, I tend to shoot for rare, sometimes end up at medium rare, but you know, it depends on how fresh the steak is. If it's fresh, I'll have it rare. If not, if I'm not confident, I'll just say, you know, medium rare please. And often what I find, if it's a bad place, like a pub or something, you know, somewhere where they're not, the food isn't brilliant, if I say medium rare, often they'll bring it out medium well. And I'm thinking, fair enough, if you can't do medium rare, I don't want medium rare. Ironic says, do you enjoy cocktails? And if so, which ones? I do quite enjoy cocktails. What are my favourite cocktails? It depends. Depends on what mood I'm in. I quite like an old-fashioned, except I have to be in it for a heavy session if I'm having old-fashions, because they're quite strong. Otherwise, I like a sour, like a gin sour or something like that. They're always good, but I'm not actually that fussy. I'll have anything, really. Bard, Earl Grey or Nay? I'm not a tea drinker. Not a huge fan of tea, which I realise, you know, some people think British people have to like tea. It's not true. I'm a coffee drinker. Thank you. 2018 Game of the Year. Oh, I've forgotten 2018 already. What came out in 2008? I'm going to have to check. Google to the rescue. 2018 video games. Let's see. God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, Spider-Man, Monhan World, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Far Cry 5, Forza Horizon 4. Yeah, I liked Forza Horizon 4, that's up there. Fallout 76. No, I'm going to have to go with Forza Horizon 4. That's a personal choice. I realise driving games are for everyone. But that's probably my favourite that year. Favourite PS2 game? Time Splitters, probably. I never played it in the contemporary setting, but the fans of Time Splitters are so rabid. You know, they got me into it, basically. It's, oh, where's Time Splitters, Stu? Where's Time... Oh, I can't believe you didn't mention Time Splitters. And then, so, next time I'm doing a video where it might be relevant, I play it, and I think, oh, hang on, this is really good. So I like Time Splitters. The Grand Theft Auto games on the PlayStation 2 are also pretty good. Gordon Ramsay or Ainsley Harriott? Both. Alexander Zaitz. Ahoy! Is there any way to get you personally in UK? What, you mean like a hitman? Wrath, any recent beers you have thought are very good? Schofferhofer, mentioned. Drunk Cat, do you still like doing these vlogs? Has Discord increased or decreased the enjoyment of them? There, that's my third serious one. Right, do I still like doing these vlogs? I like putting them off, but I don't mind doing them. You know, once I've had a few beers and I get into the rhythm of answering questions, yeah, it's alright, it's fine, it's fun. I like pinging everyone, it's exciting. Underscore says, have you been recognised by fans in real life? No, not really. I know there are some friends of friends who are fans of me, and they try and ply my friends for information. That happens sometimes, but no, I don't get recognised when I go out and about. What's your favourite guilty "this is terrible for you" snack? I don't know. Probably an entire cheesecake. That's not something I do regularly. But I think a few weeks ago I defrosted a cheesecake. And of course once it's defrosted you've got to eat it. And my wife went away, so I was left with, I think she had a slice of it. I was left with the remainder of an entire cheesecake. And it was good, it was good. It was a nice cheesecake. But cheesecake is not a meal. The age-old personality-defining question. Pick 3 toppings for a pizza. Cheese, pepperoni, extra cheese. Argus Swift says, if you had never gotten into video games, would you have still gotten interested in firearms? Likely not to the same degree. It was the Rainbow Six series that got me into firearms. Raven Shield, to be specific. Just having this arsenal to choose from and experiment with, that was really that was the moment where I sort of discovered an interest in firearms. Alright. Oh, I've lost my place. There we go. Marek says, what's your opinion on Epic being yet another GameStorm having exclusives and potentially further fragmenting an already fragmented market? Competition is good, I suppose, but I'm not 100% impressed by Epic. I mean, you know, they're entitled to do it. It does seem like they're spending a lot of money on acquiring exclusives, which is maybe not the best thing. But I don't know. It's fine. It'll probably settle down. I finished. Not bad, not bad. Yeah. I like a stout. This one was alright. Oatmeal, chocolate milk. Didn't really taste the milk, but it's there. Well. Alright, I'll finish what I've got question-wise. I'm near the bottom. Whittle says, could you describe 4 video game companies with drinks? No. iDesolate says, any sports you used to be into? I quite like motorsports. I've been in and out of Formula 1. I'm not really in at the minute, but like 10 years ago I was into Formula 1 a bit. I actually went to, I think it was 2006, I went to Silverstone for the Grand Prix there. That was quite good fun. I'd go again. I like motorsports, but I'm not as much into it as I was. Kalia Maha says, what are the best and worst videos you've made and why? Best, probably Polybius. Worst, worst? Oh, I don't know. I don't like to say, you know, the worst. Worst Iconic Arms episode is probably the Uzi. But even the Uzi is probably better than most of the weapon guides. Oh, we've reached the bottom, just in time. Velocity Will, Unicorn, says, I'm probably too late, but vacationing in Ireland. What is your opinion of the Emerald Isle? I like the Irish. They're alright. I feel like, you know, Ireland and the north of England probably have more in common than, say, the north of England and London. I think there's a disconnect between the north and the south of England, and I do feel like, you know, I have a stronger affinity with the Scottish than I do the Southerners, and yeah, I mean the Irish are strange in their ways, but no, they seem pretty sound for the most part. I've never been. I should go to Ireland at some point. The trouble is, if I was going to go to Ireland, I'd have to do all the tourist stuff the first time, I'd go to the Guinness brewery and I'd have a pint of Guinness and I don't know, what else can you do? But yeah, nothing. I'm sure Ireland's lovely. I'll visit sometime, I'm sure. I'd quite like to get to the Isle of Man as well. There we go, we've reached the bottom. That's all the questions, I think. Which is good, because it's midnight. It's gone midnight, and I'm going to be up in the morning about 8 o'clock. So the later I stay up, the less sleep I get. So I should probably go to bed now. Thank you very much for watching. I shall get this uploaded in the next couple of days and processed and all the rest of it. And yeah, I shall endeavour to get the next video out as soon as possible. You know, I'm not going to rush it, of course. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I shall see you soon.